Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us, or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So setting a rivet or a snap or dropping in a Chicago screw, not difficult. But from time to time, we need to remove these to repair, replace, or sometimes things simply end up in the wrong place. Well, how do we get these out without dinging the project? Not tough to do. Let's start with a Chicago screw. These are some of my favorite fasteners. I love the Chicago screws for strength, length, and ease. On the ease side, we don't need a setter, mallet, or marble. All we need is a screwdriver. And in the case of the Weaver screws, all we need is an Allen wrench. We've got a slot right there. Makes the whole thing very easy. These are the floral cap. We've got these in multiple lengths. Now in the plain, we've got multiple finishes, match all kinds of hardware, but I'm getting off the point there. Here's the point to this. I typically say, let's add a little dab of white glue in these to keep themselves from working out. Without that, they will over time and your project will come apart. But what I don't want is a much stronger glue, because eventually we may have to take these out, maybe to change the buckle or repair a piece. So with this, let's start right here. I'm going to take a small metal piece. This can be a little rivet set or anvil or whatever. The point is that I'm going to put my project on top of that, and I'm going to press down on the sides. We can do it sideways too, absolutely, but we're going to press down, hopefully opening up the edges of that screw as much as we can. So let's take a pair of vice grips and let's set these, there we go, to click down on a rivet or a screw cap. So now, again, we're trying not to ding these. I'm going to press down on either side of our project, and let's see if I can get those vice grips to clip on. There we go. Now, the point here, we're trying not to ding the leather. We may just a little bit, but I don't want to press down so hard that we do put a blemish in the leather. All right, let's lay that over easily. Now, with our Allen wrench, we're going to have to break the bond on this, but it's relatively easy to do. So let's drop that in. I can feel that screw. There it is. That glue just let go. So now I can unscrew that. Let's open that up. We can see a little bit there where my vice grips hit the leather, but actually I think we're okay on that. So, relatively easy to change out a Chicago screw. Well, now let's step over to some rivets. And over to my shop, not nearly as clean and pretty as my Weaver shop, but it's going to work for us. Right here, my favorite fastener, the double cap rivet. That's about the only rivet I use. We have these in multiple lengths, multiple finishes. So right here I've got two. I've got one that's well set and one that's not well set. So we're going to use a drill press. We can use a hand drill, absolutely, but we're going to come in from the back. Now, the reason I say that is because we're going to use our heavy duty awl, and for this purpose alone, worth its weight in gold. So right in the back, when we drop a drill bit onto that bit's spinning. So it's going to want to spin off center on us. If we drop in a hole over here or over here, we're actually going to make the problem worse. So let's do our best to get that all to sit right in the center of that rivet. Good. Let's give that a good punch. I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right, let's take this over to our drill press. Let's start by putting a little protection down on our drill press plate again so we don't ding or damage our project. Now, what we're doing is on a double cap here, we're trying to separate the cap from the post. So I want a drill bit that's a little larger diameter than the post there. We're going to go with 1/8 of an inch here. This seems to work pretty well for double cap rivets. Now, what I'm going to do, when I turn this on, I can't talk, we won't hear it, but I'm going to hit this very slowly. And let's just see if we can't drill that cap off of the post. Now, it didn't go completely through. That's okay, we can fix that, but I want to stop drilling as soon as that starts to spin. Okay, let's step over to this, but let's move that before it leaves on its own. Now we're going to try with a rivet that's not very well set. And that almost immediately started spinning. Okay, let's step back over to our punch table. We almost got through here. I expected that to pop off, but right there we actually got a little bit further. So now let's flip this over. We're going to set these just like they were on a project, but what we're going to do is force that post down into that base or that cap. Okay, now let's step back over to the press. One good point, whether we're drilling rivets or leather, let's always wear some safety glasses. Let's be safe in our shop. So let's see if these come off. And that one came off easily. Good. Now that fell right out, but from time to time that's going to stick in there. I have to bring this up because let's don't push with our thumb. First off, right there we go. That's sharp and it's going to be very hot. So let's take our awl and push that through. In this case, it just falls out and that ring comes right off. All right, let's try the rivet that was not well set. And that one came off just as easily. Okay, so one good point. These little pieces and parts, again, I'm going to pry that out. That's hot and sharp. Well, it's going to cool off, absolutely, but let's make sure we keep track of these. Chase these down if they fall off of our table because we don't want one of those in our shoe. That is very irritating. So over here, we've got our copper. We can always drill out right from the backside. Same thing, the point there, we're separating that base from the post. Now, on tubular rivets, it's going to be tough to drill from this side. So let's come in from the front, again with our awl. Let's notch that, then come over to our drill press. And again, let's separate that cap from the post. Now, another good point here, all these little slivers. Let's make sure we use our brush to get these off, because if we simply push those, we're going to get one of those in our finger. Now, it's not going to hurt, but every time we touch that part of our finger, we're going to feel it, and it's going to be impossible to see. So let's go with something like one of our brushes, and let's just brush that off before we go to our next project. We can remove our snaps just as easy as our rivets, but on our line 20 and 24, we're going to come back to those because we're going to drill that post. We're just going to drill it from the other side. Now, on our segment snaps, this is almost the forgotten snap. It's a great snap, easy to set, looks good. But right here, we've got our cap and our socket. That's not going to drill at all. But all we really need to do is take a small pair of wire cutters because we're really just going to crimp those flanges. Pull those in a little bit and grab that last flange, and typically that's going to come right out. Now, we can see where we set that snap previously, but a new snap is going to cover it no issue. On this end, we could drill from the back, but in all honesty, again, the small wire cutters, if we just cut that, it actually breaks the post off. There we go, and that just falls right off. Good, okay, let's take these two. We've got our line 20 and our 24. So when we set these, we've got a post, and our setter is going to roll that post down inside the snap. So all we're going to do is drill that out. Like I said, with our line 20 and line 24, all we're trying to do is drill off the small curl at the top of that post. Same on both sides. So we went with 1/8 of an inch for our rivets, about 3 millimeters. Let's go up to about a 3/16 inch, maybe 4.5, 5 millimeters. Okay, let's see how easily these come off. And there we are, same on both ends, but same rule applies. Let's don't push, we'll cut our thumb and it's hot. But now we can pop that off, trade it out. So, easy enough to remove just about any fastener. From time to time, we do need to repair or replace, but in my shop more often than not, things simply end up in the wrong place. Well, it happens. But I do hope this is helpful, and I hope it's good information. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.